Hello, everyone, and Happy New Year. I'm David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us for Access City Council. We have a great show ahead for you. Fitness stations and basketball courts are just a few of the amenities Ward 3 residents are now enjoying at the new Mayfair Place Park. And if you're thinking of helping the homeless, we tell you why it's important to listen to some key tips before venturing out. The councilman who represents Ward 3, Councilman Bob Coffin, joins me now. Welcome back. Happy New Year. This is our first Access City Council show of 2018.
Thank you, David. It's good to be here, and the same thing for everybody out there. We all are happy we survived. I always like the fact that, another year has passed. It makes me feel like I belong more,
Absolutely.
I don't mind looking older. It's just the idea is that, he was here till 2018 anyway.
That's right. It comes whether we wanted to or not, Councilman, at this age.
That's right. I'm writing my obituary all the time.
No. You kind of have a great year ahead of you. And we'll show everybody where Ward 3 is located. You know it very well, but in case they don't, it's the east side of town, right? That's where it all happens.
That little blue area has as many people as all those larger areas. It is the old part of town, not only the downtown, but the part that stretches out to Nellis. It's really the old part of downtown Las Vegas where I grew up.
Yeah, it is, and it encompasses downtown, Fremont. You got part of Fremont, and I know one of the issues near and dear to you down there has been the homeless. We've got a lot of homeless in the downtown area. In fact, there was a news conference that was held just before the holidays, and it was held over Four Master in Maine, which not technically is in your ward, but I know it's a homeless issue, very important to you. The upshot of this was the homeless providers were very concerned that so many people are helping the homeless. That's great, and they love the help, but sometimes that help comes in the way of feeding people in the middle of the street. People aren't coming in to get the services they need. One incredible story, Thanksgiving Day, Catholic Charities had 15 people, 15, line up for dinner that day. They were ready to serve 1,000 meals.
Think of that food.
Yeah.
You know what, David, it's the biggest frustration I have faced in almost 7 years on the council, and that is trying to get intelligent, well-meaning people to do the right thing, the smart thing, and that is to not take food and just make themselves feel good. You know the old saying about it feels better to give than receive? Well, there's a lot of truth to that, but the thing is you're hurting everybody else when you do that. It's very selfish, and I hate to condemn people who do it, but let them be insulted. I don't care. The point is that when you feed them where you want to feed them, you're usually bringing them into somebody's neighborhood or a park where people live. So if you want to do good, folks, do it the right way, and that is do it at the places where we have set up, where they know they can go get fed, not just on 1 or 2 days a year, but every day.
Right,
That something will be there for them. And it's not just food, but it's the care, the diagnoses when they are looked at, they get medical, they have a look inside their minds a little bit too. You can look and see who's there, who's not right, who needs care. They may come in for food and not realize that they're also being examined because they may be psychotic, or they may be definitely a danger to themselves or others.
Right.
So we encourage them then to come into treatment. We try to do this stuff. You can't do it in 40 different neighborhoods in the downtown. You've got to do it at one spot. So please, if anybody watches this broadcast, I know thousands do, will you tell somebody else about it and tell them they're not helping the public, that they're hurting their own community, their own neighborhood by feeding wherever it is, in their front yard or in the nearest park.
Right. And Councilman, that was the gist. There was a news conference that was held back on December 20th. Again, this is Deacon Tom from Catholic Charities kicked it off. All the homeless providers in that area, and that is exactly their message, just what you were saying, Councilman. Their message was strong. It's like, hey, we want your help, we love your help, we're glad that our community is a caring community, but if you're gonna help in a responsible way. They told some stories that you're gonna see a Metro Sergeant right here, told the story of one young lady came to drop off clothing. It started a fight, literally, out of her trunk, and she ended up being injured as a result of all of that. So the message here is what Councilman is saying, is if you're going to help, work through the providers, coordinate with them, just don't go off on your own. As Councilman says, sometimes it feels good to do that, but you may actually be making situations worse as opposed to helping.
Oh yeah, people cannot help themselves on Thanksgiving and Christmas. But that means that for the weeks prior or after, people will stay in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
if they thought
exactly.
that was a good deal. Maybe they'll get more.
Now, Councilman, the city isn't just talking, and we're putting our money where our mouth is here too, because we tweeted out this message: nearly 300 homeless people access services each day at the Connect 365 Las Vegas courtyard. And Councilman, you have been a driving force behind this courtyard, where literally what we're doing is providing services, and we're just getting started. We're already servicing 300 a day, and we're not even begun. We're going to add so much between now and the spring, but it's been amazing the impact we've had already, with obviously the potential to do a lot more. I should also mention that people are already on board with what we're doing. Tammy responded by saying this: "What a wonderful idea, City of Las Vegas. Proud to be a citizen. There is so much good in this city." And Councilman, I got to say, you again were one of the driving forces behind getting that courtyard willed into reality.
Thank you very much. Obviously, everybody on council has to do this. I mean, everybody on the council has to vote for money, even though it may not be spent in their neighborhood. About 40 of us from the whole Southern Nevada area, cities, county, law enforcement, and social services providers went to San Antonio. It's hard to believe it'll be a year in February. And we saw their idea, and we were trying to copy the very best.
Yep.
San Antonio has done a wonderful job of putting it all together, where they take people who are what we call wet, which means not sober, or perhaps under the influence of drugs, and allows them to come in. They can't consume anything while they're in there, but they can come in and they can be safe, and they don't have to stay in a neighborhood. Right. They don't have to sleep in a park. They can sleep there and be secure, right, along with their animals. We're going to have more than one, but the first one is in that area which people commonly refer to as a corridor of hope, around where Main and Las Vegas Boulevard come together near Owens.
Yeah, 1401 Las Vegas Boulevard North, right?
Yeah, And when we finish this, which will be years in the making, but by the time we get something open this year, we'll already be able to have an impact on problems for next summer. And then we're going to continue. We can't just drop it and say, well, that's it, that we've done our good deed. We're helping. This is a public safety problem. This is more than just feeling bad for homeless people. The streets, the parks, they're full of folks who are living in houses, living in people's yards, and there are criminals amongst them. And some people just steal to eat, but there are some people who steal to profit. You can't tell who is who, so consequently, we don't want anybody doing that. We're trying to make it for everybody, and their lives aren't very safe either. So let's say, well, we're trying to do them a favor, but really everybody should not begrudge us spending money on this stuff, because we're trying to make your neighborhood safer too.
Right. And Councilman, one of the things that you were really adamant about in moving this forward was that when people come into this courtyard facility, right now we're calling it a kind of a pop-up, it's a temporary thing, but it'll be permanent come this spring. The idea, Councilman, right, is to help people access services. If they get in there, to plug them into the services. Maybe they need medical attention, maybe they need psychiatric attention, maybe they just need an opportunity to get themselves straightened out to where they can find another job.
That's right. It won't be plush, but there'll be an inner and an outer courtyard. The outer courtyard for those people who may not be sober, but they're willing to at least come in and be in a structure. And then as we progress, and as it costs more money, we'll have an inner courtyard, which is where the social services will be quartered and where sober people are. And you have to make a decision. If you're gonna change, that's where you go, in the inside. But we're not just gonna kick people out because they're drunk. We're gonna keep them on the outside, inside a fence. They can leave and go as they please. They have to be identified, but the badge is no big deal to them. And it'll give us a chance to label those who don't realize it but need to be seen as mentally ill by the law enforcement. So when law enforcement apprehends somebody out there, they can kind of tell whether somebody needs to go to the hospital.
As opposed to being belligerent.
Or jail.
Right,
correct.
Right.
Anybody can be that. And, us amateurs don't know the difference. The cops are pretty well trained at that kind of mental health evaluation. They're all going through that training.
Well, it's exciting, Councilman, and again, a big step forward in the whole effort to help the homeless situation in Las Vegas, to help correct it. Important thing, and you mentioned this, one of the big differences people may not know is that many of the homeless providers will not allow clients to come in who are drunk or under the influence of drugs.
Right.
Whereas the idea with our courtyard is that people will be able to come in there, again, not be able to use while they're there, but at least they'll be able to find a place that's safe until they sober up, and then can hopefully maybe get into some services, as opposed to sleeping under a bridge or in a field someplace.
Sure, and look, a lot of people don't like to be preached to about a religion and about things and about saving their souls. They're just trying to save their corporal bodies at that moment, and I'm not even sure they believe in God, and nor should we care. Main thing is that they don't have to come in and get a message, and they don't have to be clean or dry to come in. They can come in any way they are, and we'll hopefully sort them out and help them sort themselves out.
All right, so stay tuned. This spring, the courtyard, again, it's a temporary thing now, but it'll be in full swing come March.
I would say a little later than that, but I think by summer the outer will be better, because we still have to go to bid. We're waiting for this. But it's never going to be done, David. I like people to think that not only will we build this one out in a couple of years, but we're going to have others around the valley.
That's so true. That's a big problem out there.
Yeah.
So, all right. Let's shift gears a little bit, Councilman. A new addition to Ward 3, December 11th, the Matter Academy had a ribbon cutting, 4760 East Bonanza. Now, what is the Matter Academy all about?
Well, the Matter Academy is a venture by well-known Las Vegan Andre Agassi and his business partner, who are really, really looking at creating an investment which pays off for children. The Matter, and I know that you'll see it as M-A-T-E-R, which most people would pronounce as Mater. But a lady in Florida who got this thing started, her family name is Matter, and she spells it that way, so they're sticking with the pronunciation. It is a good thing for the east side of town to move this in, because, you know, it's going to take care of kids of all color. This is not just another private school where you have kids try to come in from wealthy places. They belong here. If you were there like I was and you look at the whole student body, it's all colors and enlightening and so talented too. Their uniforms show pride in their presence. And Andre, who had he had a privileged childhood in a way. Andre's dad was dedicated to him and felt that the best thing for Andre was to take a talent that he had and make it a super talent. So Andre, to his chagrin, essentially majored in tennis when he was a kid. And in fact, I don't think he ever really finished high school. So he tells people that story, not because he's ashamed, but because he wants everybody else to understand. That's what drives him. And he doesn't want other kids to feel like they have got to abandon all their pursuits in their youth. They're really the fun things in life, to just be a grinder on one thing just because a parent wants them to. So he is a walking instruction on how to raise kids. And when Andre speaks, he speaks from the heart, and you can feel it in his voice. So we're so proud to have he and Steffi living here. They just continue to add to the community.
Well, and this is just his latest philanthropic effort, because he's got the Agassi Academy that's been around for a number of years, and many other things. He's helped some of the schools that you and I have been affiliated with over the years with donations, very generous ones. So,
and by the way, that real estate that they're on backs right up to the Las Vegas Wash, where soon we'll be breaking ground on another park, a small one, a 3-acre park. And they were just thrilled to hear about that, because now they can walk across a little bridge on the Wash, and they can play there too. Yeah, great. Everybody likes these little micro parks.
That's right. So, well, congratulations to the Matter Academy. Best of luck to the kids there and to the parents as well. So, and welcome to Ward 3. And then, Councilman, I know you're very proud of this. In fact, you tweeted this out. A new park in one of our oldest neighborhoods. You cannot beat the feeling about this half-acre paradise. And I know, Councilman, this is a very big source of pride for you that Mayfair Park Place is now, I mean, look at it, it's gorgeous.
You know, look at that. And remember that around this valley, there are a lot of people with some wealth who have houses on lots a lot bigger than that. But you take that half acre and you multiply it out by the joy that the kids are getting from it already, even though it's brand new. By the way, what's kind of cool is it's right next to Station 4. It's on 15th Street, just a couple hundred yards north of Charleston. If people want to drive right there between Fremont Street and Charleston on 15th. In the old Mayfair area, and that's why it's called Mayfair Place Park. That right there is a true micro park with a little bit of everything for people. And the firefighters get an extra bonus because they've got a special gate that they have a card that they can get through, and they can exercise at all hours of the day or night. We are not letting the public in the off hours like nighttime. That's not right. But we do have, because we don't want too much noise in the neighborhood. So it's a combination for the firefighters and the kids. And we have seen a lot of little 2- and 3-year-olds in there. So I went to grammar school in that area, and I knew the girl that lived. Janet Schramm was her name. She lived in the house that is still smack dab up against that park on 15th Street.
Really?
60 years later. So it just doesn't go away. The old hoods are still there. They built, in the early days of the World War II.
Yeah.
They're still there, occupied. My sister lives over there. So we have a lot of folks who really have a lot of pride in this, just this little half acre. But that's what you can do.
Turned out beautifully, Councilman, because we talked about what the conceptual drawings were going to be and all that over the years, but boy, it really turned out great in real life.
Yeah, well, there's just no more room for regional parks in the city, at least on the eastern and the central part. There's no room for a 10-acre park, even. And some of these, we just can't compete in that area. But what we can do is provide for a father with his children, as we saw in that video, and I saw just 2 days ago, enjoying walking, tending their own business while the kids are playing. There's a nice walking path around it. And some kids were playing basketball on the half court.
Nice.
You can get all of that in there without crowding anybody.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Well, from the older to the newer, the city tweeted this out. Congrats to Makers Las Vegas on their 3rd anniversary. Thanks for calling Main Street and Ward 3 home. Of course, we're talking about Makers and Finders, a great coffee company here in town. There it is. They're expanding, Councilman. You and I were talking about that before we went on the air. They're expanding to other locations, but this is their main place downtown, and it's been 3 years already since they've opened the doors.
Well, they're sharing, that patio and courtyard and other services with a brew pub, and there are a lot of little businesses right down there. Here's the mayor speaking at the 3rd anniversary. There's Josh Molina, one of the partners in ownership. The tall guy in the center right there is Derek Stonebarger, who's one of the movers and shakers in the
arts
downtown,
district.
the arts community, and so on. And he owns Rebar, which is right down the street. These are all places where people are occupying ground at night. And I can't emphasize to much people who are new here, how Las Vegas used to be so vibrant up until downtown, probably 30 years ago, with the great migration out to the west and all those new homes in Summerlin and the 100,000 homes out there in southwest and the northwest. Hey, everybody left downtown and it became a desert at night. It became spooky. And so here are all these old stores that are being occupied now by vibrant businesses with young people. I mean, the average age has to be under 40. We're all welcome no matter how old we are, but you get the point.
And the thing of it is that they love being there. That it's a cool place to be. It's a hip place to be, and they're coming back.
Yeah, and Josh and his team have put up with a lot. For the last 2.5 years out of the 3 years they've been there, we've been working on Main and Commerce.
Very
it's
patient.
Been a construction zone. It's been hard on all the businesses, but they've had faith. They knew it would get better. It already is, but we're not quite finished yet. So they're hanging in there, and in fact. Their success is good enough that they've opened a new store up in Summerlin, and they also have a little pop-up store downtown on Fremont Street. Well, you take all of that, and it means that they're making enough money. Their bankers see the projections, and they say they can do it. If they can do it on Main Street, you can do it anywhere.
Exactly. And thanks to Derek and the rest for their support and their patience as we work on Main Commerce. It's going to be beautiful when it's done, but right now it's a lot of construction for sure. So
I know downtown has its neon project, but what people don't know is Main and Commerce have been a curse on a lot of people. But they're willing to put up with it.
We're getting there.
Hopefully until it's done, and that'll be this year.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, 18 is here. So, and then Councilman, this is a great story. So happy about this. This was posted on the Las Vegas Healing Gardens Facebook page. What an amazing night at the Garden. Thanks to all who came out. We hope you enjoyed your time bringing in the holidays with us. For people that may not know what's going on, of course, we have the Healing Garden that's in the downtown following the October 1st shooting. It was all built by volunteers. Well, volunteers also came out here just a few weeks back on December 16th to decorate the park for the holidays, and it was very touching because clearly this was done with a lot of love, because all of this is done in remembrance of the 58 people that we lost on October 1st here.
This little real estate here is truly hallowed ground. In fact, I know that there are some ashes of victims already scattered here and there in the soil. We intend to make this a permanent park. It is. I think very few people, especially you, David, nobody slept on October 1st. Nobody. And the 2nd either. And in fact, the germ for this somehow developed in the minds of our city staff, this whole garden, before the sirens had stopped literally blaring out on the strip, that we're going to have something special. And by the end of that day and the next day, people were already volunteering vast amounts of money and labor to put in trees, one
Incredible.
for every person who was killed, and lots of shrubs, the paving blocks, all the stuff. It's first class, so that by Friday, when I guess the vice president was in town, I think we were already, we had completed basically this park.
We dedicated it the night before, in fact.
Yeah, we lost a city employee, a good man
Cameron Robinson.
in the legal department, and so it touched us deeply here.
It did.
But we're still angry about this. We're still reeling from this. We are not going to forget it, and that's why the Healing Garden stays. And that ground was originally going to be a little park.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've decided to make it a park, but it's a park for remembrance of the people who died and who survived as well on October 1. And they come back. They do come back and visit. Their families have come back and visited. One of the people who was critically hurt that day came back just a few days ago, and their picture was in the newspaper. So we want them to continue. We want Las Vegas people to make it a mandatory stop, to come down and look at it. And we're improving it constantly. We're determined to make it live, keep it alive, and so far the trees are holding up. That is not an easy venture, you know, creating something out of nothing on soil that is not very forgiving or receptive.
Right.
So it's going to be a work in progress for a while, but we're staying the course.
And we don't want to ever forget the people that we lost that day.
No,
and,
we will not. And
no.
you think about 20,000 people traumatized by all that gunfire, more than 500 injured. And so 58 dead is the tip of the iceberg to what happened. We will never forget it, because the lawsuits on this, the controversy will be going on for 10, 15 years, as they did after the great fire in the MGM Hotel in 1980. It took well into the 90s for that to ever really, leave our radar screen. But here, it's something we intend to keep alive for a long time.
Yeah, and if you haven't been out there, it's a very, very nice place. It's a place to reflect and to remember those we lost. It's right at the corner, basically, of Casino Center and Charleston, if you're looking for it. So, open every day, and it's a great partnership with Outside Las Vegas, working with the city to maintain
I
the
have
park. So,
forgotten the names. I know, David, you need to help me on that, because I can't remember the names of everybody who has contributed. Landscapers, people who paid their landscapers
sure
to come,
did.
all the people
Sure
that
did.
didn't want publicity, but paid somebody else to come in and do something. Great donations, and that never really stops. You're always looking for a way to help improve it.
Exactly. So thanks, everybody out there. Councilman, speaking of the holidays, I want to touch on this real quickly. It's a big tradition, Ward 3, your senior holiday party. This took place out at the East Las Vegas Center. I believe this is correct. Yeah, there it is. And this is a nice tradition. This has gone on every year you've been in office, and it's just a huge turnout of people. And you get such wonderful support from the community to put this on, right?
We've had 7 parties. This one was the 7th, and the people come. We had over 300 today. I should say at this party, just before Christmas. People there were also being fed by management and staff of Arizona Charlie's. We found a way to get everybody involved in the area. They love the seniors at their properties, and so it makes sense. Here's the Red Hat Club. When we have this party, they get in there, and my wife Mary and I are sitting at this table.
Right. Yes.
We can't dance with them. I mean, they know how to dance. They know how to do this line dance. They make everybody happy. I got out there a little bit, but just to embarrass myself. It was important that you do that. You got to embarrass yourself some.
You love doing that.
I do, and it's like, oh hell, the high and mighty politicians are supposed to really have fun too. They do in off hours, and so we let it down and we hang out with everybody. Well, I like to roll on the ground with everybody, so why not? And this is a case of everybody now expects it, and they look forward to it all year long, because they know they're going to see a face they haven't seen in a year.
Yeah.
Seniors uniting from different parts of the valley, and that at least in the eastern side of the town. Now, we make sure they get there. A lot of the senior centers bring their people. Sometimes people just carpool.
Yeah.
Whoever still has a driver's license is bringing people, because some of them can't drive anymore.
I know, it's a big deal. That's why it's important to
We had
them,
our
so.
people close to 100 this time. I'm not sure we had anybody over 100. We have to keep track of them.
Yeah.
They're precious. So we hope they come back year after year until finally they can't. But it is something that our staff looks forward to as well.
And I know you do too.
Well, they see the joy. They see the joy. We do other parties around town, various kinds, but we do also give away little prizes too. So there's lots of raffle prizes, and then in the end, Walmart contributed a $25 gift card to everybody that attended.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is a lot of money when you're a senior citizen.
It sure is.
You know, we just really want to make sure that the seniors.
A lot of money for Walmart to hand out too. So there's
well,
a lot
add
of
it
people
up.
there.
Yeah,
sure
add
did.
it all up, and it is a lot. I know it's always fun to mock Walmart, but they have good bargains. So why not? Why not go there?
And they helped out on that for sure.
Yeah,
So we appreciate that.
Yeah, it makes their money go farther.
All right. Councilman, we're running out of time here. We want to tell everybody you got a couple events coming up that we want to make sure everyone knows about. Coffee with the Mayor. This is going to include you in Ward 3, January 30th. This is the new Starbucks right over here across from City Hall.
If you work downtown, why not come over and see the mayor? I'll be there in a supporting role, because everybody wants to see the mayor.
They want to
But
talk
I'll
to you
come
too.
along and I'll play host too.
That's good.
But we have most popular mayor in the country right now, so it's always nice to have her in Ward 3 doing more than she always does. And you watch people cluster around her. It's really kind of funny because she's like a queen bee, and then there's always a cluster moving with her. Where she wants to move around a room, yeah, some of them get lost, but new ones take their place, and so it's like a fur ball of people moving all around.
Exactly. So come on out and greet
I always
the mayor.
am honored to be with her at events like this.
Yeah, so that's going to be the 30th of January in that morning. And then you have a shredding event coming up. This is going to be March 17th. This is a big deal. The Mesquite Club, we love working with them. This is going to be Saturday, March 17th from 10 to noon. If you have old documents, things that need to be shredded, don't throw it into the dumpster where somebody might find it. Take it to this event and shred it properly.
For goodness sakes, please, folks, bring your stuff. I'm going to bring about 20 years worth of income tax backup material this year. 5 boxes is your maximum, but you know, if you look really nice and you're polite, who knows? Maybe we'll take
let you
more
have
than
a few
5
more,
boxes.
sure,
It
sure.
depends on how long the line is, but
Yeah.
it's like you cannot imagine how finely grained that stuff can be and is of no use to anybody. Now, it's granted that people are trying to get into your computer before they're trying to get into your garbage these days. But I guarantee you, you'll leave something out there that will embarrass you if you just put it in the trash. Because if it goes to the landfill, it still might blow somewhere.
Sure. Yeah, it's
It
got
can
your
blow
social
anywhere.
security number or something on it.
Well,
That's
from the front of
terrible.
your house, it's not safe. It's not really your property anymore once it's in the trash on the street.
Exactly.
So it's hard to get somebody out of your trash can if they're already in it.
Exactly, Councilman.
So it's better to just get it out of there and have it. Let us help you make it immortal.
All right, sounds good. March 17th, Councilman Mesquite Club from 10 to noon that day. Well, we're about out of time here, but hey, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Coffin, you can always find him on Facebook and Twitter. He's very active. And if you leave a comment, we may use one of your posts on our next show. You can also contact him by picking up the phone, 702-229-4623, or send him an email. This is his personal email. It's lvcouncilman@hotmail.com. Great job, Councilman.
Thank you very much. Thank
Happy
you
New
to
Year
all of
to
Las
you.
Vegas. And
Best to you.
Happy New Year again to everybody.
Sounds good. And we'll see you next time around 6 weeks from now on another update on Ward 3. And we want to thank you for joining us for this edition of Access City Council. Don't miss our next show beginning January 18th with Ward 4 City Councilman Stavros Anthony. And don't forget to watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. We'll see you next time right here on KCLV, where we bring city government closer to you. Thanks for watching, everyone.